Okay, guys. Injury-wise, Rob Havenstein did not participate. Tyler Higbee was limited. Tutu Atwell did not participate. Ben Skoranek and Michael Hoyt were limited, and that's it.
You expect Havenstein to be able to play?
I'm not sure. He'll be day-to-day, with those soft tissues. You can't be too careful. But I know he was ready to potentially come back in the game, and he's making good progress. But, we wanted to be smart with him today, and then we'll see what that looks like for tomorrow.
Do you anticipate Tutu taking another step forward?
I'm hopeful. I'd be, getting ahead of myself if I said anything, too soon. I think he is making good progress, but to actually clear all the necessary steps, we'll take that a day at a time too.
You mentioned Alex Ward had to see a specialist for that stinger. Do you have any more specifics?
Yeah, unfortunately, there was some, specific things going on that forced us to put him on IR. And so, really, he's done such a good job for us, and we'll continue to gather more information, Jordan, figure out exactly what that looks like, and then I'll be able to kind of fill you guys in accordingly.
It was such an emotional game. How do you examine or know if the team has mentally, emotionally hit reset?
I think you just get a good feel for their ability to come back in here today and approach the weeks consistent like what we've done in weeks past. And so they poured it all out there. And I think the challenging part, whether you end up coming up short or whether you end up finishing the job, you got to be able to move forward and into the next week and do a great job with the preparation. And I think that's not something that I'm concerned about. I like the look in their eyes today. And I think they'll be ready to go, and they'll understand, these opportunities that they've earned for these games to mean something in December. What a great chance for us to try to see if we can go get our 7th win.
When you're preparing for 2 games in 5 days, how does that change, like this week of practice?
It doesn't really change much. This late in the season, you always want to be cognizant, Adam, of what your, weekly rhythm looks like and how you adjust and alter it. Our Wednesday rhythm, you've seen, we've started to change it up a little bit. Tomorrow we get after it, and then Friday it's kind of an in-between deal. And so you're not naive to the fact that that's, coming up on the horizon, but we want to just be in the moment and be totally present. There'll be some things that we'll do right after the game, and then the schedule will obviously be altered and adjusted, but, we've got to be able to go handle our business against a tough team this week.
I know you guys don't get into stats too much, but they are giving up more points than any team in the NFL and more passing yards than any team in the NFL. So, I mean, your eyes get big.
Yeah, no, I don't get into. I mean, you said it. You don't get into that. The film is what talks to me. I think sometimes stats can be really inflated, and very misleading based on, how some games unfold that is in alignment with back and forth, or that, sometimes gets out of hand. So, you always let the tape talk to you the most, and then, those can be sometimes beneficial guidelines, but I don't see those types of things when I flip the tape onto this defense. And, the challenging thing, too, is you look at it, they're coming off their bye, got good personnel, and then Coach Rivera is calling it, and in terms of, coordinating the defense. And there's been one game of inventory, and there's a core philosophy, and he's had a lot of success over the course of his career as a defensive coach. It's why he's, why he got to be a head coach. And so there'll be some different things that they'll have that we have to be prepared for. And so I don't put too much merit into that kind of stuff.
It's 2 weeks in a row, and the Steelers earlier this season of a team coming off their bye. Is there anything you guys can do that you do differently to prepare for that?
No, not really. I mean, talk to Mike North about it, with the schedule. So, but it's no. I mean, you have to be mindful that they might put in some new wrinkles. But it's especially relevant when you look at their defense because you have such a small sample size. And so we have to handle, our preparation accordingly. And then, they've got a bunch of tape on special teams and on offense that we can prepare for. But it's a good challenge. I know this team will come in ready to go. And when I see and you flip on the tape, this is a really good football team that has a lot of, challenging things that they present both from a personnel and schematic standpoint.
Teams change every year, obviously, and coaches, being that it's been 8 years since you were coaching in Washington. Are there any connections you still have back there?
There's not any players left, but there still is some staff members. Chad Englehart, their head strength coach, is a really close friend of mine. Randy Jordan, who's their running back coach. I was with Randy there, so he's been there for a while. I believe Malcolm Blacken is still there, but there's still some people that I worked with that were on staff, but there's a lot of new faces and no players that actually other than than Fuller. He's the only one. So, and he's a stud. So I really appreciate him, and it's cool to see what he's done with his career.
Even though Carson has some familiarity, the new Stafford has some familiarity with you guys being on the practice squad, is there anything you have to do differently in practice or anything like that? How do you get him acclimated, knowing that, I guess, having Alex for as long as he did at that spot?
Yeah, I think, just a little bit of extra attention, some extra reps. Chase and Spring do a good job of being able to, buy some time to be able to get that, both with Ethan and with Lucas in terms of the timing and the rhythm between, especially with your field goal operation, and then between he and Ethan as it relates to the punt operation. And so those will be things that, you definitely want to pay, really close attention to giving them the necessary reps without, making it a toll on the, the other players that aren't necessarily affected by that.
What jumps out on you? A couple weeks ago, we asked you about Puka, and you said that he's doing a lot of things that aren't typical for rookie. Obviously, the numbers on the field are different, but is there anything else that stands out to you about that maybe makes him different from other rookies?
I just think the amount of things that we ask of him, Sarah, I mean, you look at it, obviously everybody wants to talk about the stats and the numbers, and he's made a lot of great plays that have really positively affected the outcome of games or for our offense, but he's doing a lot of things in the run game. There's a physical nature at which he plays this game, and there's different things that we ask of him in the run game that enables you to do a lot more than what you would otherwise. So there's a toughness both with and without the ball. There's a football IQ and acumen that he possesses. And there's a humility. I think that's one of the coolest things about this guy is really from the very first game, he started to get some attention, because of the effect that he's had on these games. And you've seen a guy that is exactly the same. He's humble. He's been brought up the right way. He's got a great work ethic. You see how much he reveres his teammates when he talks about them, and the way that they pour into him, and just the emotion that's so authentic that he has. All those things are, whether you're a rookie or whether you're a great player that's been doing it for a long time, those are things that you don't ever take for granted as a coach, and very appreciative of him.
What about Sam Howell? Sam Howell stands out to you when you look at him on tape. Obviously, he's a young guy trying to figure it out. I think it's 18 and 14 in terms of touchdowns and picks. He's streaky. Is there a danger in a guy like this?
Oh, yeah, he's a baller. I mean, this guy's got the ability to create. You can see he sees the field well. He can get through progressions quickly. He can make all the throws. You can see, he dissects and recognizes coverage contours quickly, and he's able to deliver the ball accurately. And then when things do go off schedule, he's got the athleticism and the escapability to buy time, keep his eyes down the field. And you can see guys understand how to be able to work with him. And they got playmakers all around. Coach Bieniemy does a nice job being able to spread the field, but I'm super impressed. We've crossed over with them a lot because there's been a lot of similar opponents. So even when you're just getting ready from an offensive perspective, looking at the other team's defense, the Washington offense has been in a lot of our breakdowns, and you see him and you're thinking, man, this guy's making a lot of plays. He's doing a lot of really impressive things, both on schedule and off schedule. And you see why the people and the players and that organization, have such belief in him. And he's put a lot of really good stuff on tape, and he's dangerous as hell for sure.
Not looking ahead to next week before this week's done, but when you do have a player like Rob who's dealing with the soft tissue, does that factor in at all? And how you?
Yeah, there's a possibility. Those are some of the things that you have to weigh and consider. But you still want to make, if a guy's able to go, then you're saying, all right, he should be ready to go, and then he should be ready to turn over for Thursday. But do you push that limit knowing how quickly that next game is, especially when you're right on that fringe? Those are things that we talk about with Reggie. But I do know this, Jordan, if Rob's able to go, we want our captain out there. But in the meantime, you feel fortunate to have, a Joe Noteboom who can step up, fill in, and did a lot of good things against an excellent defense the other day. Okay, thanks, guys.
2 games in 5 days. How, if at all, does that change your preparation from week to week?
Nothing different this week. Continue to go out there and just prepare like we normally would to go play. Let the coaches and the training staff kind of, pull back as they feel like is necessary. We just, as players, just go out there and every time we're asked to do something, go do it 100%, and then just charge yourself up and get ready to go after that one.
Knowing you played the last 2 games were against 2 elite defenses, is there any danger of human nature when you're going up against a defense that statistically is on the other side of the spectrum?
I mean, this is the NFL, in my opinion. I mean, like, anybody can beat anybody. At any point in time, you can only control. You don't really control who you play. You just control how you play. And that's the big thing for us is let's go out there and play our best game of football that we've put on tape this year. That's our goal every single week. This week will be no different for us. Each defense, each team creates unique challenges each week, and that's something that, as a coaching staff and as players, we try to go out there and solve and then go out there and execute on Sunday.
The Super Bowl for the 26th season is going to be played at SoFi. Do you anticipate that you'll still be playing?
Come on, man.
That season?
I have no idea. That's a long way away.
Would you like an opportunity, though, to play in another Super Bowl? At home
Absolutely.
stadium?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was cool. Obviously, it's the only one I've ever played in. So unique experience getting able to do that at home. Don't know what it would be like anywhere else, but it sure was fun getting it done at our place.
Your numbers have, go ahead, Sam. Your numbers have improved over the course of the season, but for you, when you watch film and as you are throwing the ball, does it feel like to yourself you've made an improvement as the season's gone on?
I'm always trying to improve. Trying to get better week to week. And like I said earlier, kind of each game is unique, right? What's asked of me, what is my job for that week? It's always to go out there and, play at a high level, but sometimes that's, it looks different. And so just proud of the guys. If I'm playing good, that means the guys in front of me are blocking, the guys on the outside are getting open and catching it. We're running the ball efficiently. It's an unbelievable team sport. It takes everybody to do all of it. I'm just trying to make sure that, when everything's right around me and my number is called to go out there and do my job as best I possibly can, and knowing that the guys around me are all fighting to do the exact same thing, just working towards one mission, and that's, trying to win the game.
What, 2-part question, what details, aside from pure, power and physicality, make a receiver great at yards after the catch?
Mm-hmm.
And what details did you see Sunday from Cooper when he had the ball in his hands, little details that opened up more space for himself?
Yeah, I mean, I think, catch transition is a huge thing. He's as good as anybody I've ever been around at doing that, and that looks different every time. Sometimes it's catching the ball in zone and drop stepping and getting vertical. Other times it's feeling a guy on your back and knowing, hey, this is the time to accelerate, or this is the time to slam the brakes on and let him run by. I think the one that he had down there kind of in the low red zone, I threw the flat to him, and he slammed the brakes on, threw the guy by, and then did the same thing on the kind of corner route I threw to him where I laid it out there. Did a nice job of making his guy miss. Then he's just never settling, never run out of bounds, never just kind of saying, oh, the journey's over here. I'm always trying to fight for more yards, which is really cool to be around. It's awesome for our team. We have a lot of guys that play that way. That rubs off on everybody. You see Kyron running that way. You see Puka catching and running that way. You see Davis Allen doing that, what he did. Everybody's just fighting tooth and nail to get as many yards as they possibly can, knowing that they all matter and they all count.
Specifically in those situations, can you see really pieces of guys' personality emerge in the way that they do that?
Yeah, I think so. Everybody kind of does it different, and personality might not be the personality that you guys know him as, but the the personality of the competitor that I know him as and our teammates know him as. So it's a fun thing to see.
It looked like you got hit pretty hard on the pass you threw. Puka made the diving catch. Feeling okay?
I am, and I did.
So,
Couple more.
after the game, I thought you had a very good quote about there's a million plays.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go Monday, I'm assuming Monday, and break down the film
Mm-hmm.
to get ready. What is the challenge to make sure, as Sean says, that they don't beat you twice? To know if maybe one of those million plays you win, but not to carry that into preparation for this week.
Yeah, I think you flip the tape onto the Commanders, right? You just flip the tape onto those guys, you watch them, and you go, okay, let's figure out a new way to win. It's going to look different every single week. and you watch the landscape of the league, the way games are being played. I mean, it's anybody's game at any moment, and people are getting it done all sorts of different ways. So, figure out the team that we're playing, how we match up, what, areas can we feel like we can exploit, what other areas are going to be tough for us, whatever it is. It's a little bit of a, the chess game of it, and then go out there, and then when you get our opportunities on Sunday to go cut it loose for 3.5 hours, go do it. And I know this team's going to be ready to go. It starts today, Thursday, Friday, just the preparation that we have. We got to continue to attack it like we've been attacking it, and then go out there and cut it loose on Sunday and live with the results, because this group's done a really nice job of just going out there, playing your ass off, and fighting tooth and nail to win. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but these guys are reloading every single week, which is awesome.
What's Marcus Robinson done really well over the last couple of weeks to impress?
Oh, he's separating, he's doing a nice job at the top of routes, winning. Made some contested catches. Obviously, that third down catch was a huge one early in the game down the sideline. Big play in the 2-minute drive. Obviously the touchdown was a great, kind of scramble mode, just secondary adjustment. So he's done a really nice job of separating, making plays, and just being himself, which is great.
Do you take much pride in the passes that you don't throw, the decisions you've made, maybe to throw the ball away, or when you go back and look at film and go, that was a good play, just like a touchdown pass would be?
Yeah, definitely. You want them all to be, all the plays to be wide open and chances and attempts, I guess you could say. But sometimes you got to throw them away, and for one reason or another, right? Defense, has a say in every single time we snap the ball too. So I'm trying to do everything I can to protect the football. Keep our team, efficient, explosive at the same time. But, each play I have to play as its own, right? Doesn't matter if we threw a 50-yard touchdown on the last play. Doesn't mean the next one's going to be some wide-open play either. I got to play each one as its own. And that's the challenge of playing this position, but it's part that the longer you play, the more you learn it. And, you got to have that competitive, fire to that play to Puka, right? Trust one in there to a small spot, 40 yards away on the other side or whatever it is. And then the next play, if it's not there, you got to find it in you to not try and make that same play and maybe throw it away. So easier said than done, something I'm constantly working on and trying to be as good as I possibly can for this team. But definitely, have thrown some away that I feel like, have helped us in the long run.
Matthew, I want to ask you a non-football question. You've been in town, obviously, for a while now. I was just curious if you had any thoughts on the Shohei signing as you're wearing that Dodger cap. It's probably the biggest free agent signing in LA since Shaq back in, I guess that was 96, 97. Just curious if you had any thoughts on the whole thing, being a top-notch professional athlete yourself.
That's awesome. Happy for him, happy for the Dodgers, happy for everybody involved. Watched him, on TV a bunch of times. What a special athlete and player he is. What he's able to do on a nightly basis in baseball, whether he's on the mound or in the box, he's doing a hell of a job. So it'll be fun to watch him, and I wish him all the success. Thanks.